Men in general don't lose women because they lack effort. They lose them because their effort is weakness in disguise. Too many texts, too many compliments, too much bending. What they think builds attraction silently kills it. Machiavelli never taught about love, but he knew this one truth. Power doesn't collapse in one blow, it leaks through small concessions. In our modern relationships, that means every moment you hesitate, every time you over-explain, every time you show need instead of calm, you drain her desire without realizing it. Inspired by the ruthless clarity of Machiavelli, we will uncover 7 mistakes that silently destroy attraction. These are not obvious errors. They are habits that appear harmless, even noble, but they quietly drain her desire until you are nothing more than another man she forgets. Watch closely until the end, because a single mistake can cost you a future relationship or sabotage the one you already have. What you'll learn today will allow you to replace weakness with presence, need with certainty, and discover the truth. Machiavelli would have whispered, "Women don't give to the man who asks. They give willingly to the man their instincts cannot resist." Let's begin. The first mistake is thinking that being overly nice will make her want you. It doesn't. It kills her desire instantly. Most men confuse kindness with attraction. They believe that if they're polite enough, accommodating enough, agreeable enough, she will eventually see their value. But here's the brutal truth. Every time you adjust yourself too much to please her, apologizing for things she didn't notice, asking her permission for simple decisions, waiting for her approval before acting, you are silently telling her, "I am harmless. I am safe to ignore. I am not a man you need to feel anything for." And women don't give themselves to men who feel harmless. Machiavelli warned that rulers who try to please everyone end up despised. Generosity without strength breeds contempt. In seduction, the same law applies. Niceness without edge signals weakness, and weakness suffocates attraction. That's why the man who does everything right, texts often, showers her with compliments, always available, becomes the one she vents to about other men. He thinks his niceness should win him love, but what it really wins him is irrelevance. Why? Because attraction is not born in comfort. It's born in polarity. Polarity means tension between masculine direction and feminine energy. And when you give up that direction, when you let her set the pace, the mood, the decisions, you eliminate the very charge that makes her body feel alive around you. Picture the difference. The nice man says, "Where do you want to eat? I'll have whatever you want." She hears, "This man has no center." The decisive man says, "I'll have the ribeye. You'd probably like the sea bass here, but order what you feel like." He isn't controlling her. He's showing leadership. And she feels, this man has gravity. That's the essence. Women don't reject kindness itself. They reject the weakness behind it. True kindness comes from strength, like opening a door or giving your jacket because it's who you are, not because you hope for points in return. False niceness comes from fear, and fear is poison to attraction. So here's what you must do. Lead instead of waiting for her to decide. Hold your ground calmly when challenged instead of backpedaling. Be generous, but never apologetic about your presence. Machiavelli would remind you, power that has to beg for recognition isn't power at all. A ruler doesn't announce authority, he embodies it. In the same way, stop announcing your value through forced niceness. Start embodying it through calm certainty. Because the man who hides behind niceness is invisible. The man who radiates authority, even in silence, is unforgettable. The second mistake is softening yourself so she feels more at ease. You lower your voice when you should speak with conviction. You avoid taking a stand on what you believe because you don't want to offend. You shrink your presence so she doesn't feel intimidated. You think you're being respectful, but in her body, she feels something else. This man has no edge, no fire, no gravity. And here's the truth. Women cannot feel deeply feminine in front of a man who abandons his masculinity. Machiavelli would have whispered this into your ear. A prince who bends too easily loses both respect and desire. He would have told you that power given away to keep the peace only breeds quiet contempt. It's the same in attraction. The moment you smooth out your edges, she stops feeling the polarity that makes her instinctively lean into you. Attraction lives in contrast. Her softness needs your firmness. Her fluidity needs your structure. Her storm needs your calm. Think about it. She doesn't want a man who silences himself every time she raises her voice. She doesn't want a man who plays small so she can play big. What she craves is the man who can absorb her intensity without flinching, who holds his ground when she tests, who lets her feel the thrill of pressing against his strength and finding it unmovable. When you dilute your masculinity, you rob her of that experience. You take away the chance for her to relax into her femininity, to exhale into trust. Instead, you force her into the masculine role, and once she feels she's leading you, she no longer wants you. So what must you do? Speak in your natural tone, not the filtered one you use to avoid conflict. State your opinions without apology. Take up your space as if you have the right to be there, because you do. Let her feel that you won't dissolve when pressure rises. Machiavelli would have advised you this. Better to be challenged and respected than to be agreeable and ignored. Because the man who waters himself down to please her never excites her. But the man who dares to stand unshaken, even in disagreement, awakens a desire she cannot explain. The third mistake is collapsing when you meet a woman with power in her presence. She speaks firmly, and you go quiet. She makes a bold move, and you step back. You think you're being respectful, but what she feels is weakness, and weakness never stirs desire. Here's the paradox. The stronger the woman, the more she craves a man who won't disappear in front of her. She doesn't want another follower. She wants the one man who won't fold when she pushes. Machiavelli would have leaned closer and whispered, "If you yield too quickly, you invite contempt, but if you resist with poise, you invite surrender." He would have told you that power is never maintained by those who bow instantly to pressure. A strong woman tests you precisely because she wants to feel something rare, the relief of letting go. She doesn't want to be in control all the time. She doesn't want to carry the weight of always leading. She wants to feel what it's like to finally rest in front of someone who cannot be moved. When you shrink, you take that away from her. You force her to keep her armor on, even in intimacy. And without the polarity of her surrender and your strength, there is no fire. So what must you do? Meet her energy without fear. When she comes with intensity, you don't compete with it. You match it, then redirect it. When she speaks with force, don't silence yourself. Hold your ground with calm certainty. Show her that her strength doesn't scare you, that you are not her opponent, but her equal. Machiavelli would have reminded you, men who stand firm in the storm are the ones others trust to guide them through it. And in her heart, that is exactly what she wants, to trust you enough to let go. Because in the end, the strong woman does not fall for the man who kneels. She falls for the one who can take her fire and remain unshaken. The fourth mistake is believing you can purchase her desire. You take her to expensive restaurants. You flood her with gifts. You pay for everything as if opening your wallet will open her body or her heart. But all she feels is this: you don't believe you are enough on your own. Think carefully. Have you ever given her something costly, and instead of genuine gratitude, you got a polite smile? That smile wasn't attraction. It was discomfort. Because deep inside, she knows what you're trying to do. You're attempting to trade money for intimacy, and nothing kills desire faster than the scent of desperation disguised as generosity. Machiavelli would have advised you with brutal clarity. Gifts given too freely lose all value. Generosity without restraint breeds contempt. The more you shower her without her earning it, the less she treasures it. Women don't want to feel bought. They want to feel chosen. They want to feel that what they receive is not a transaction, but a reflection of their effort, their presence, their worth in your eyes. So what must you do? Redefine how you give. Never give because you're trying to buy attention. Give only because you genuinely wanted to share something, without expectation. And even more powerful than gifts of money are gifts of experience. Show her a part of your world. Introduce her to something rare, something that belongs to you alone, that creates memory, connection, and value. Because here is the truth. If you lead with your wallet, you make yourself a client. But if you lead with your presence, your energy, your rare attention, you make yourself the prize. Machiavelli would have whispered in your ear, "The ruler who buys loyalty soon discovers it cannot be kept, but the one who inspires loyalty without payment cannot lose it." Apply the same to women. The one who feels she must give herself to win you will never forget you. The one you try to buy will forget you before the night is over. The fifth mistake is living for her approval. You ask, "Do you like this shirt? Did I make you happy tonight? Are you having fun?" Every question is a confession. You are telling her that your sense of worth depends on her response. And here's the brutal truth. No woman on earth desires a man whose emotions rise and fall with her approval. She may tolerate him, she may use him, but she will never crave him. Machiavelli would have warned you. The man who seeks constant validation reveals his weakness, and weakness invites contempt. The same law applies in seduction. The more you ask, the more she feels you are beneath her, begging for crumbs of reassurance. Think about it. Do you find yourself attracted to someone who constantly asks if they're good enough? Of course not. It drains you. It suffocates you. It reeks of insecurity. Women feel the same. The man who cannot breathe without her applause is the man she cannot desire. So what must you do instead? Build your own center of gravity. Wear what makes you feel powerful, not what you hope she'll approve. Lead the night based on your judgment, not her reactions. Enjoy her company without needing confirmation that she enjoys yours. Here's the paradox. When you stop needing her validation, she starts chasing yours. When you act as if her approval is optional, she suddenly works to earn it. That's the switch every powerful man understands. Machiavelli would have whispered, "Make them depend on your recognition, but never depend on theirs." In other words, you become the source of approval, not the seeker of it. And once you shift into that posture, the dynamic flips forever. You no longer ask, "Am I enough?" She begins to wonder, "Am I enough for him?" And that's when desire takes root. The sixth mistake is apologizing for the very spark that separates you from every other man. You know the moment. The air thickens, her eyes linger a second longer, the silence hums with electricity. That's the invisible current that makes her body lean toward you without her permission. And then you kill it. You say, "Sorry if I came off too strong," or "I hope I didn't make you uncomfortable." In that instant, everything dies. The tension that could have carried you both into unforgettable territory evaporates, replaced by the scent of weakness. Understand this. That tension is not a problem. It is the doorway. It is what divides friends from lovers, background noise from unforgettable encounters. When you apologize for it, you signal that your own masculine presence is something to be ashamed of. Machiavelli would have whispered in your ear, "Never apologize for your power, for the moment you do, others will question if you ever had it." He knew rulers who apologized for their strength quickly lost the respect of their people. The same law applies here. The moment you retreat from the intensity you created, she no longer trusts you to carry the moment. Here's what you must do instead. When the air grows heavy, hold it. Let the silence stretch. Let your eyes stay steady. Let your calm tell her that you are comfortable with what is unfolding, that you are not afraid of desire, not rattled by heat. Because if you are, she will be. The truth is simple. Women crave men who can carry that spark without flinching. The man who apologizes teaches her that he cannot be trusted with the fire he started. The man who embraces it becomes unforgettable. And once you understand this, you'll never again sabotage yourself at the very moment you were about to win. The seventh and final mistake is this. You sacrifice your mission to please a woman, and in the process, you dull the very edge that once made her desire you. In the beginning, she may smile at your devotion. She may even call you sweet when you cancel plans, adjust your schedule, or reshape your life to orbit her. But slowly, an invisible shift takes place. You stop being the man she met, the man with direction, with gravity, with sharpness, and you become predictable, soft, tamed. Machiavelli would have warned you, the prince who forgets his purpose to win affection will lose both his throne and his lover. And that is the fate of every man who abandons his mission and softens himself into comfort. Women are not drawn to men who dissolve into them. They are drawn to men who stand apart, men who keep a fire burning that no woman can fully control. She wants to feel chosen by a man who has options, by a man who still carries danger, mystery, and direction. When you put her above your mission, you strip yourself of that energy. When you lose your edge, you give her no reason to chase, no reason to prove, no reason to surrender. And that is when she begins to pull away, searching for the very tension you erased. So what must you do? Never let go of the mission. Never blunt the blade of your own spirit. Keep building your empire, sharpening your mind, chasing the goals that matter outside of her. And at the same time, protect your unpredictability. Be the man who can love deeply, but who also keeps his center untouched, his path alive, his presence sharp. Because here lies the paradox. When you remain a man with a mission she cannot derail, and an edge she cannot fully tame, she does not leave. She clings tighter. She gives more. She invests not because you asked, but because she knows she has found something rare. The man who makes her his mission loses her. The man who keeps his mission and his edge makes her fight to stay by his side. You've just uncovered the 7 mistakes that quietly destroy a man's power with women. Too nice, too soft, shrinking when she's strong, buying her affection, chasing her approval, apologizing for the very fire that attracts her, and finally, sacrificing your mission and dulling your edge. These are not small slips, they are chains. Chains that keep men trapped as background characters in their own lives. The safe option, the forgettable one. But now you see them. And once you see, you can never go back. Machiavelli would have whispered this truth in your ear. Clarity is power. Blindness is defeat. Today, you are clear. You know what kills desire before it's born. You know what separates the men women forget from the men they cannot let go. From this point on, the game is different. No more sabotaging yourself. No more disguising weakness as kindness or fear. A man on his mission moves differently. Steady, unshaken, unapologetic. He doesn't beg. He doesn't ask. He doesn't explain. His presence alone shifts the atmosphere, and women give willingly because something rare has been stirred inside them. Respect, desire, inevitability. This is the hidden code most men will never see, but you've seen it. And once the veil is lifted, there is no going back. With clarity comes power, and with power comes choice. And with that vision, the world is yours. In love, in power, in life. If this opened your eyes and you're serious about becoming the man who's in full control of his life, my book is now available. The Undeniable Man. Built to be chosen. It's a strategic guide for men who want to attract, lead, and dominate in their love life and beyond. Whether you're single or in a relationship, no fluff, no tricks, just pure, powerful strategy that will set you apart from 99% of men, and that you will actually use every day. The link is in the description. And if this video spoke to you, don't just keep your thoughts in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember these lessons, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share it with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.